everyone, welcome to another week in sociology. In this video I'm going to walk you through Unit 1, Session 2 and some of the key ideas from this session. So let me jump in, Unit 1, Session 2, which is focused on research in sociology. It's interesting, we don't always think about the social sciences as sciences, but in this session we're going to kind of focus on how do sociologists know what they do? What kind of research do they do and what does it look like? And also how is it different from other social sciences? So on this session plan page, you're going to want to kind of take a look at this natural science versus social science. Natural sciences are things like biology and chemistry that study the natural world. Social sciences are sciences that study human beings. So psychology, sociology, even history, political science, economics, these are social sciences. So you kind of want to know the difference between those. I wanted to point out that this week's, we do have a Tuesday due date because of Labor Day, but it's still the same amount of work and we'll reduce the work in Unit 1, Session 3 to accommodate for that holiday. So I hope you have a fantastic holiday. Here's our suggested schedule. I haven't really focused on this before, but this kind of gives you a way to break down the week's work into smaller chunks. I'm fine if you're doing it in big chunks, but some people like to kind of know, okay, how would I split this out and what does that look like for a week's worth of content? So that schedule can be really helpful. All right, so first on this page, you're looking at the differences between each of the social sciences, and I'm going to walk through them really quickly. Sociology, as we talked about in our orientation discussion, is about groups of people and how they interact, things like culture and society. Anthropology is also interested in culture, but it's primarily interested in cultures that don't use writing, and whereas sociology studies more modern societies. So that's kind of difference between those. Psychology focuses mostly on individuals and their emotional states. Economics focuses on economic systems and how people trade things and goods in order to get what they need. Political science focuses mainly on government systems and how those work. And then, of course, history looks at past events. But you'll notice that historians actually use some concepts from sociology and psychology to explain why people do what they do. But those are kind of the main differences between the social sciences, just so you kind of understand the distinction for what makes sociology unique. Then we're gonna go back to Crash Course and watch a couple of videos. The first one talks about how does the scientific method apply to sociology, and the terms you want to pay attention to are quantitative and qualitative research. Quantitative, you're trying to measure things with numbers objectively. Qualitative, you're looking at things that can't easily be measured by numbers or surveys even. So things that qualitative looks at questions that don't have quantifiable answers or mathematical answers. And so they require different types of research. And so she'll talk about that. Then the second video, you're going to look at different types of sociology research methods. This video is going to be really helpful with the assignment later, so you want to pay careful attention to that. But you'll notice here I've highlighted paying attention to surveys, interviews, experiments, and observation, and kind of what those look like in sociology. Then we have a reading. You'll notice this is a pattern that you'll see in a lot of the sessions. In this case, the reading is optional. So I've given you a textbook reading here, but then I've given you a chart of just read the parts that you don't yet understand. So watch the sociology crash course videos first, and then if there are areas that you're not completely sure about, then use the textbook to help with those, okay? Then you have an assignment. You're going to be creating a research methods chart, and I'm going to warn you when you click on it, it's going to ask you to make a copy. So you want to make sure that you're logged into whatever Google account you're using for school for that. Usually for Jeffco students, that'd be your Jeffco Schools address. We're going to click on make a copy, and it will go ahead and make a copy and put it into your Google Drive. And then there are methods listed on the left, and you're going to have to tell me, is it quantitative or qualitative and why? What is it? What's an example of it? What are the pros of that method, the good things about that method, and the cons? So you may need to go back to the video, back to the reading to make sure that you have all the information that you need. I want to point out, if you're not familiar with working in Google Drive, you need to share it, and you can go ahead and share it with me directly, kkip@jeffcoschools.us, or you can click on Get Shareable Link, and it'll default to anyone at Jeffco Public Schools can view it, which is perfect because then I can see it. You copy the link, and then that's what you're going to submit in the Dropbox is the link to that assignment. Okay, so that's how you submit those, and there is a Google Drive plug-in that you can add that may make that process easier too. I'll try to get a video ready to share with you guys about how to use that, or if you have questions about it, just let me know. All right, so that's your assignment. Then we're going to jump into a discussion. You're going to pretend to be a sociologist who's interested in how social media impacts students' anxiety. And your hypothesis is that the more students use social media, the more anxious they become. And so in this discussion, you're going to design a survey with 3 questions that you would use to measure that. How does social media impact a student's anxiety? It seems like a really easy task, but as you get into it, I think you'll find it's a little more complicated than at initial glance. So you're going to make an initial post here and then reply to 2 other students. Your replies are a critique of their questions. Do you think that those questions would actually measure it? How might you make them better? Remember that in this class, we try to be incredibly respectful of each other, but we also challenge each other's ideas because that's how we learn. And so this is a place that we can do that. And then you're going to spend some time on your careers in sociology project. Remember that we previewed that last week. In this case, you're going to continue working on the process portion of it. So maybe you've already done some of your research. This week, I do ask you to interview someone who works in the career path that you've chosen. But don't stress out about that if you don't know anybody or you're nervous about calling somebody. I've given you some videos here that you can use as an alternate. So you can watch these videos. These are actual people in the field talking about what it's like, and you can use their information. And then you're actually creating that career profile. You will turn this in next week, so you kind of want to make some good progress on it. But remember that career profile, you can make a copy of this Google Doc. You're really getting a 1-page handout of what is it like to be in that career. There is at the bottom a rubric for how your project will be evaluated as well. Again, any questions, please reach out to me. And that brings us to the end of that session. Let me know if you have questions, and have a fantastic week, everyone.